This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys, there is a permission issue, so I have to restart. I'll rejoin just 1 minute. Yeah, uh, need to be given as a presenter. Fine. Cool. I'm sharing the screen with you guys. So can you see the screen? Can someone confirm, please? Excalibur, I'm in. Yeah. Yes, can you hear me? Can someone confirm, please? And is it my screen is visible?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes,
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Yes, we. This is a demo session. Like now, we can take a can make it as a this session more interactive. And purely, I'm going to explain what we are going to cover and setting the clear expectations at the end of the course, what you would be learning. I'll be explaining that. At any point of time, if you have any question, you can stop me and you can ask the question. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Okay. So, when you attend this demo session, you decided to continue as a full stack developer, or you want to switch to the from existing job to the Java full stack if you want to switch. So the thing is that when you are going to learn Java, Java full stack, we have several options here. Like no, once you learn, there are a lot of things are available in Java. There's something called the JSE, JSE. Okay, so JSE. What happened to this? JSE, JEE, and JME. So this is the main three editions in Java. So JSE, JEE, and JME. JSE is a Java Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition, and Micro Edition. So as a full stack developer, you are going to learn the JSE and JEE. We are going to learn that here. And once you learn the JSE, for our convenience, we will say that as a JSE is nothing but the core Java. We can say that here. JSE we call it as we can say it as a core Java, where something wrong. Okay, where we are going to set as a core Java. The core Java is a JSE, Java Standard Edition. By using the Java Standard Edition, you can create a desktop applications. So when it comes to the enterprise applications where you need to interact with the databases and you want to connect with the servers and communicating with the various other servers. So when you want to develop such applications, we would be using the JWE. We are going to use it. Now, in this program, we will be taking that as the most of the participants are beginners. Even though there will be any batch, if you take that here, will have the different levels. Like the people who wants to start Java as the first programming language, and few people would be they have some experience with some other programming language they want to switch. The third category will be they want to learn the advanced concept and they want to upgrade their skills to up to date. Okay. To keeping in all these things in mind, like this program is going to start from the very basics, like the basics in the sense, what is a program and how to compile your program, how to run your program. Like it starts from the scratch. So when you are learning the Java, so if you are not yet decided whether you want to go as a Java full stack developer, you want to go it as a testing side, you want to go it as a mobile development or Salesforce. If you have a confusion and if you haven't decided that, uh, don't worry too much about that. First, you learn the core Java. Once you learn core Java, then you have a learning path where you can decide, hey, I have learned the core Java and now I want to go it as a Android development. So in order to go for Android development, core Java is a must. And then if you are going with the testing side, Selenium, if you want to learn, the core Java definitely it is going to help because Selenium is a Java framework where you can write it in you can write it all the test automations by using the Java. And if you are going it as a Salesforce developer, the Apex is a programming language which they uses that here, which is similar to Java. Yeah. And if you are continue your career in Java full stack, then core Java is the fundamentals it is required. Once you learn the fundamental concept, then you are going to learn about the advanced concepts like enterprise frameworks. You are going to use it. Now, the core Java, once we learn core Java, then we are going to core Java where we will be introducing the programming fundamentals, like what is a basic construct of the program and how we are going to use the object-oriented concept, exceptions, then collections and reflections and threading. These all concepts you would be learning in the core Java. Once you learn core Java, then the next thing we are going to learn about the SQL. This is a SQL is a SQL is a structured query language. Whenever you are working with the any databases, any relational databases, we need to talk to these relational databases. In order to talk to these relational databases, we must have the knowledge on the SQL. Regardless what database it is, it can be a Oracle database or MySQL, DB2, Derby. There are plenty of databases are available, and we would be using the PostgreSQL is a database. We would be using that here, and how to write the SQL queries and how you are going to interact with the by using these SQL queries, how your application is going to interact with the databases. Those are the concepts we will be learning in the SQL. Okay, these two things like SQL and the SQL and the SQL and core Java knowledge. So it would be helpful for you whether you are continuing in a Java full stack developer or you are going to work on the other languages. So the core concepts are same. The core concepts are same, and the SQL is a common for all the languages, all the databases like no the MS SQL or DB2, Derby, or PostgreSQL, whatever you use that the more or less SQL syntax because the SQL is not specific to the any database. It's a SQL group. They have given the standards, and most of the relational databases follows those standards. Once you are done with that here, the SQL part, then we will be integrating the databases with your core Java applications. That's a place where you are going to learn the JDBC. You would be learning about that. You will be learning the some JDBC. You are going to learn that here, JDBC. So with this, we can develop a standalone command line applications you can develop. Once you are done with that, then you are going to learn about the UI. So the UI concepts are like in order to build a web pages, what are things are required? Like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, JavaScript. Okay, then we will learn about the Ajax, how the Ajax works. Then we will be learning so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and there is a Bootstrap. These are the things you will learn that. These core concepts, you can say that no UI also there are a lot of frameworks are available, React, Vue.js, and Angular. Before going to learn these frameworks, we will be learning the fundamentals of the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Ajax, and the Bootstrap we will be learning. And we will be developing the few applications you are going to develop that here. Once you have done that here, then we need to learn the server side applications. We need to learn about the server side applications where by using these HTML pages and by using the Java knowledge, so we need to create a dynamic web pages. We want to create it here. For that, we will be learning about the servlets and JSPs. We are going to learn that here. Even we will not spend more time on the servlets and JSPs because these days everything is the APIs. Like no, so where what are the data you are sending, you will be sending by using the API. What are the data you are going to retrieve, that you are going to make a call to the APIs. So the servlets and JSPs, just it will help us to understand how web works. So to get a hang of that, like we will be introducing the servlets and JSPs. Once you are done with the servlets and JSPs, and now you will be introducing to the Spring framework. The Spring framework, we would be using the Spring Boot. Starting, we are going to use the Spring Boot. This is a place where we will be learning the Spring module. So like core, AOP, then MVC. Then we are going to learn about the Spring data, security. Okay. So the security, and we are going to learn, these are the core modules. We would be learning that here. So the core concept of what is a dependency injection, how the dependency injection works, then what is the AOP, MVC, Spring data, how the data works, and then there's something called the Spring JDBC. So these are the concepts we will be learning. And when once you start working on any projects, I think these days de facto standard is everybody is using the Spring is a framework. And the Spring Boot, after introduction of the Spring Boot, the every Java developer, like or any Java project if you name, and by default they would be using the Spring, they would be using that here. Okay, we'll be learning about the when you are building the enterprise grade applications, what are the standards we need to follow. Those all concepts I'll be introducing here. And once you are done with that here, and during this learning phase, these all these things, this is related to the technology. Like, what is the tech stack you are using? So these are the things you would be learning that here. But on top of that, we need to learn a lot of other things. Like, a lot of other things. Like from the day one, we will be introducing the build tools. Build tools, where we will be start our project with the Maven project. Okay, we are going to use the Maven r slash Gradle, we can say that here. So Maven or a Gradle, these two are the build tools. Whenever you are creating any project, it's like large projects when you are creating, it should have the standard directory structure. And when you are building the project cannot be built by using the Java alone. Like there are times we have to download the lot of other libraries we need to download, or we need to work with the lot of third-party libraries. We need to work that. Those all the libraries we will pull by using the build tools, either Maven or a Gradle. We are going to use it here. And another thing is, in order to maintain your source code, like versions of your source code need to be maintained. For that, we would be using the Git. We are going to use it here. So how to use the Git, and when you are using the Git effectively, like no, so you when you are working in a team, you'll get a lot of times merge conflicts. You'll get it sometimes when you are doing the some work immediately you have to switch to the other branch, and then you have to stash your changes, and like no you can take the patch of your file and you can send to the somebody where you can apply the patches. And when you are working in the same file multiple people, there is a possibility you may get the merge conflicts, how to resolve that merge conflicts. These all these things you will be I will be explaining in the JIT. So in a real time applications, what are the problems you will get it with the JIT. I'll be introducing the JIT all the problems, and uh, I'll be solving those problems, and so that you will also get the experience how to solve the Git related issues. And now then these days everybody uses the cloud services. Everybody uses the cloud services. We should get familiar with the cloud services. Okay, so either you can go with the AWS, or we can use the equivalent of those services. Is I'm going to use the something called the render.com. This is a place where this is a cloud hosting service where we can create our web services, we can create and we can deploy. And at the same time they offer the databases also, database as a service they offers, database as a service they offer. And we will take the database as a service, and we will connect with the render.com. Like no your data you will be storing in a cloud, we are going to store it here. How to do that, I'll be explaining that here. And at the same time whenever you are deploying the applications, the server side applications, you would be using the something called the Docker. Now nowadays everything is containerization. So all the applications will be created as a container, and the containers are going to be deployed into the particular servers. They are going to be deployed, and those servers, the containers will be running. Okay. Now how to create a containers and how we are going to deploy these containers to the render.com, I will be explaining that. Once you are done with that, and then the dev tools, we need to familiar with the Jenkins, and then there's something called the Sonar. Okay, Sonar, and these two things. So we need to get familiar with that. So the Jenkins is CI/CD jobs. Like now, whenever you build your project, you don't wait for the like no, you don't wait for the until entire project is completed, or until everybody completes their work. The moment you push the code, immediately job has to run. The things has to be deployed. To automate all these processes, we would be using the Jenkins. We are going to use it here, and there is something called the Sonar. Sonar is using for the to check the code quality. Okay, how well the code quality is written, is it followed the standards or not? To check that, you would be using the Sonar. We are going to use it here. So these are the some of the build tools along with this Java. To work comfortably in the work environment, you should learn all these tools. You should get a very good experience with all these tools. Then only you can go and survive in the projects. Yeah. The on top of that, like when you are using the when you are learning these concepts, we need to know working with the some of the external files. Like no, we need to know about the how to work with the Excel, how to work with the CSV, PDFs, then PDF. Something wrong here. Okay, how to work with the PDFs, then JSON files, okay, how ML files, property files, property files. These are the commonly used external file formats: Excel, CSV, PDF, JSON, ML, and property files. How to work with the Excel files, how to work with the CSV, PDF, JSON, ML, and property files. We will be discussing in the when we are dealing with these concepts. And now how this program is going to start. How this program is going to start, I'll be explaining that here. Before I go further, does anyone has any questions here so far? Whatever I'm explaining, just let me give a pause. I will I'll wait for your questions. Do you have any questions here? Even one person say no, I'll continue. Even one person says that I have a question, I'll answer your question.
Hi, sir. I had a query of it.
Mm-hmm.
So render.com, how it works actually? So you will be deploying a server into it, or the application completely you will deploy and you will be using it?
No, render.com offers the Docker, you can deploy into the render.com. Okay, we will build our application as a Docker. Then Docker image we are going to give to the render.com, and that render.com will be deploying the. It is going to run that container. It is going to be running. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
As you said, like it works as a AWS, right?
correct.
Then you'll be creating any servers or to get that create an image, or what you will do actually.
See,
I had a query of it. That's it.
the render.com has greatly simplified the way you build your images. What they like, no, you are going to take a web hosting space, you are going to take from them, like no,
Okay.
in the web hosting space, like where you are going to tell where your source code and where is your Jenkins file, and that is going to build your Jenkins by using the Jenkins files. It is going to build a container, and at the same time, in the
Oh,
that space where you have taken, it's going to run that container.
oh, okay. You will be creating a Jenkins file and you will be doing like same as AWS. You will be doing it, but
Sorry,
purpose.
it is a Jenkins, no, Docker file. It is a Docker file. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
no problem. Cool. How this program is going to start? Let me explain. First thing is we are going to do the dev environment setup, dev setup. Okay. So where you are going to set up your dev environment. What is the Java you are going to use it here? The main things is we need to install the JDK, and we would be working with the latest JDK version. It was 21, the latest version. Okay. Now we can check that here. The terminal, what is the JDK version I'm using? Okay. Uh, I think this is in a separate window. Can you see the terminal, guys? I don't think
Yes,
so.
I can see.
You can see the terminal. Oh, okay. So now here we are going to say it as a Java iPhone version. Uh, So this is the latest version is I think 2 days ago I installed here. It is a 21, it's saying that here. So we would be using the latest version, you are going to use it here. And every 6 months they are releasing the new version. Do we need to worry about the every 6 months? Do we need to learn? No, whenever there is a release and if there is a major changes, you should learn that. And moreover, I'm telling you that like no, whenever new version is released, immediately your product is not going to upgrade it. Okay, they will see that here, and they will really that is going to increase the performance, and that's going to uh, it's going to add a lot of value to your product. Then the people may switch from they may upgrade the versions, but it's always a good to upgrade the versions. So sometimes what happens, the product is running, they don't want to take risk, and the products will not be upgraded to the next versions. And these days I'm telling you that every framework and every language to survive in the current market and to adapt the current changes, everybody has to introduce the new features, and they have to release the new versions. And whenever the new versions are released, we should learn what are the new things has been added, and you will be learning that and you are going to implement. Okay. In our current product, where we are I'm working like no, so we started with the JDK 11, and recently we upgraded to the JDK 17. Now it's already 21. Really, if you see that here, there are some vulnerabilities issues are like no, there are a lot of third-party tools will be running and checking that vulnerabilities like sync, then JFrog. There are a lot of things are there. If they complains that like there are a lot of vulnerability issues, then we don't have other option. We have to upgrade the versions. You have to upgrade. In case of the our learning, so we start learning with the Java 21. If it is releases the Java 22, we may install the Java 22 and we learn the new features what they have introduced in JDK 22. So this is the one JDK we would be using here. JDK 21 we are going to use it here. And then we need a one IDE. Okay, this IDE is a integrated development environment where you can choose the what are the environment, like if you are already familiar with the Java, and if you are using the some of the ID, you can continue to use that. Otherwise, we are going to use the IntelliJ. We are going to use it here. Okay, there is a we'll check that here. JDK downloads. JDK downloads. If you look at here, JDK is the 21 is the latest version. Okay. JDK 21 is the latest version for US. Okay, we can see that here. This is a 21. It has got the long-term support. Okay, and if you want to go back to the old versions, you can go back to the old versions. You can go back here. And now here there is a IDE, IntelliJ IDEA. We are going to use it here. And this is the idea. We are going to use the community edition. Okay, we don't need the complete version. You can use the community edition. You can use it here. Okay, developer tools. Okay, IntelliJ IDEA. So where you can download this is ultimate. Okay, I think, yeah, downloads. If we go to the downloads, here we have a, so ultimate is this is like 30 days free, and later we have to pay for that. Uh, uh, it's for us, it is like no community edition is good enough. So you can download the community edition, and where you can install the community edition, you can install here. So here we will be using the IntelliJ IDE is the IDE we are going to use it here. IntelliJ IDE, we would be using that here. So the IDE, you can install the IntelliJ IDE, we can install here. IntelliJ, okay, IDEA we are going to install here. And IntelliJ, we are going to install the IDEA. Okay, so this is a IDE you can install. And then we can install the VS Code as well. VS Code is the Microsoft Visual Studio Code. Don't install the Visual Studio Code and the Visual Studio framework. Just see VS Code. It's a simple thing. VS Code you can download, and you can install that here. VS Code is a Visual Studio Code where it's very lightweight. We can say that here. Suppose if I'm using the Mac, I can download for the Mac. Um, it's a small file. It's around, oh, it's not small file anymore. It's a 201 MB. Yeah. Okay, 201 MB we have. This is a file. Okay, 201 MB. This is not a small file. VS Code, just we can open the VS Code, we can open that here. This is a one IDE. Yeah, it's a simple IDE. There is nothing like, no, it's not that heavy. So where we can use the for the Java development, I think VS Code is can be used for almost all the places. Is a Python developer, Java developer, or Salesforce developer. Everybody uses that here. It's a very simple, lightweight framework, lightweight IDE. We can say that here. This is the IDE you can install. The next thing is for you to connect with the database. Like no, if your laptop is really good and it's very powerful, it's not very powerful. It's a little powerful if you can install the Docker desktop. Docker desktop is a place where you can run your Dockers. You can run it here. The Docker desktop, you can run that here, and then you can see that here Docker desktop. Let me show that here Docker desktop. Okay, Docker desktop, if you take that here, this is the Docker desktop. You can download, okay, download the Docker desktop for your operating system. You install the Docker desktop, you install so that you can run the Docker containers, and like no, you explore these things. As a beginner, you explore that here, what is this Docker and how to use that, like no, so you just get familiar with that. Okay. The next one is we need to use the, in order to connect with that databases, we are going to use the dviewer. Dviewer is a universal database tool. Okay, we are going to use the dviewer, we are going to use it here. This dviewer is a universal tool, I'm saying that here. This is a universal tool to connect with your relational databases. Okay, let me put it here. This is another tool. dviewer is another tool, so which we will be using with the which is a DB client, where you can connect with the any database, any relational databases you can connect. It's not only relational databases, you can connect with the Hive and Redis, and there are lot of options are available. To show you that here, dviewer, I'm going to show that here. I think I have already installed. Okay, this is the dviewer. Suppose if I'm taking the connections, you can connect with these many databases. You can connect. You name a NoSQL databases, SQL databases, popular databases. The popular databases are, these are the databases, like no. So PostgreSQL, DB2, MariaDB, and then MySQL, Oracle, SQLite, Apache Hive, Apache Drill. So these many databases you can connect. It's like no, you can say it as it's a universal DB client. You can say that here. So you guys can install the dviewer, you can install that here. Okay, dviewer, if you install. And another thing is like you can create an account in the render.com. You can create an account. Okay, we are going to use the render.com. uh, okay, render.com, anyhow I will show you that here, how to install that here. And another tool is we need to install the git, and we need to install the maven. Okay, I think these are the good enough for us to continue the Java, this entire course. These are the tools, or these are the softwares which are required for us, so to work with as a Java full stack developer. These are the main things, and one more is Node is required. Okay, sorry. Node, you can install the Node latest version. The Node, you can install the latest version. Maybe Node is initially it is not required. Initially it is not required. Initially, to work with the core Java, JDK and the IDE is good enough. And these all these things, and Git and Maven you must install. Okay, let me put it in the same order. These things are the must. Java, okay, Git and Maven is a must, and these things are, if if your laptop is good and it is a very powerful laptop, you can install the Docker desktop, and at the same time you can install the dviewer. And I'll be showing that here how to install if you are having the problems. And if you don't have any problems, like no, so like you guys can go on to explore this, and how to install the JDK, how to install this IDE. These days every installer, like no, what are the installers they are giving here, it's a simple and straightforward. Just we need to follow the installation wizard. That's it, nothing else. Yeah. So these are the things we need to install that here. Once you are done with the installation, then we will get start with the our program discussion with the JSC. That's nothing but the core Java, and how to create a project, and how to write the hello world example, and those are the basic concepts you would be starting. Yes. So let me give a little pause. And any questions here? Any questions?
Mm. Sir, which version of Spring Boot you will be using here?
Spring Boot, we will be taking the latest version, whatever it is available. Okay. So if you look at
It
these,
supports JDK 21.
yeah, I'll just show you that. Start.spring.io, if you go here, you can see here the latest version is 3.3.0 snapshot version. We will not use that. We would be using the 3.2.2, and it supports the JDK 21.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and if this version is released by the time, I think when we reach the spring version, 3.2 might have been released, then we would be using the 3.2 2.2. What is the latest version you would be using that? Yeah,
Sorry?
what are the latest version it is available, we would be learning that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, sir.
So because we are learning the anyway first time, are you like we will learn about we will be using the latest versions, we are going to use it, so that all the new features whatever they introduced, you can use that. That's our intention of taking the latest versions. Maybe your projects may not use the latest versions, they would be developed in two, or some of the projects I've seen that it's running the spring one. Like no, spring boot was introduced the 5 years ago or 4 5 years ago. Earlier we don't have the spring boot, like no, it was a spring projects. Yeah, still projects will be continuing in this. Yeah. Now, you may ask the question like, there will be a couple of questions at the end of the course, what kind of projects I'm going to develop? Okay, what I'm going to learn at the end of the course. Those are the questions you will have it here. So suppose if I'm taking the render.com, let me log in with my account, sign in. Okay. Uh, I think I should be logging with the GitHub if I'm taking here. So I'm logging with the GitHub. Oh, they have sent the verification code to Jim. This is a mail. Okay. Okay. I'll be here. We have developed the during the classroom phase, we have developed some applications, and these applications are deployed in render.com, and we will see some applications. Like now, if you take the June IPL statistics, 7 months ago it is developed. I don't know whether this is going to open anything. Just we'll see that here. This is a static page. I think the servers are APIs must be failing. That's the reason it did not load anything. Hmm. Okay. Currency application. This is a web service. Country UI. This is a cool. This is a yeah. Here also the APIs must be failing because they give the database server only for 3 months. Once once 3 months is over, like what are the database here, the country info, which is going to call this is a country info API, it is calling here, and these APIs are not responding. That's the reason it is saying that pending. The moment you get the server is up, you will get the data about that here. Okay, we'll see that here, country info UI, country info server side application 2 months ago. Hopefully this would work. Yeah, the servers, we haven't made the request for the long time. Like no, the servers will go for the sleep mode, so that no, the first request will not be served immediately. Okay, exited with the server while running code. Check the server logs. Okay, this is also not running. Okay, I think it's starting now. Okay, what are the applications we are going to develop? We will be deploying into the render.com. You will be deploying, so that like no, whenever you ask somebody, hey, what did you, yeah, server is failed, like no, we need to fix that here, why it is failing. uh, Okay, these all the application these all applications, like, so to get the experience of the most of the servers, my applications are failing because my database is a 4 months ago. Like, whenever you create any services, suppose if I'm taking the DB service, it is only valid for the 3 months. Later it is going to be, the data is going to be deleted, DB servers will be down. That's the reason my almost all my server applications are getting failed. Okay, that's okay, don't worry, that we can fix it, that, and we are not worried about that here. Now the thing is that to get the experience of the how to deploy your server side applications, and how to maintain your applications, how to see the logs, to get that experience, we would be using the our deployment server as a render.com. We are going to use it here. This is a render.com is something similar to the AWS. I'm not saying that it's a, same as the AWS. So because AWS offers the lot of other services, but here we have a limited services. They offer the only very limited services they offer here. Now, whenever we are creating the static websites, we would go with the static sites. Whenever we are creating the Docker deployment, we would be using with the web services. We are going to use it here, and they offer the PostgreSQL and the Redis. These are the PostgreSQL database. We are going to create an instance, and you would be using that here. So you get a experience of the how to work with, how to deploy the applications, how to maintain the applications. If there is something fails, how to see the server logs, I'll be explaining about that here. And entire code, what are the code you have, we are going to develop that here. Suppose if I'm going here, GitHub, if I go here, and whenever you take a batch, any batch you take it here. Suppose if you take this September month batch, so what are the source code we are going to develop? You will be seeing all the source code. You are going to see that here. Like, if you see that here, learning JDBC, IPL data, IPL stats, and JSF Spring tutorial. If you look at here, Spring tutorial, what are the Spring we have learned, we have created the projects, all the projects you can see in the source code repository. And the moment I done with the session, immediately the source code is going to be pushed. Suppose if you take the core Java, the core Java, what are the things you have done, that here you can see here. Core Java, if we take it here, day one to, like, what are the days it continued, like, no, it continued around 30 days, it continued. So the 30-day sessions, you will see that here, everyday examples, whatever you have done, that all the source code, it is going to be pushed to the GitHub repository. In future, whenever you have doubt, you can go back and you can refer that here. And along with that, a lot of assignments will be added. So the assignment questions also, when you are taking here day one, or day one may not have the any assignment questions. So generally, the assignment questions, in the classroom itself, I'll be saying that here, hey, I'll be creating empty methods, and I'll be asking you people to create do the implementation for those methods. Okay, therefore, yeah, you can go and do look at, so, like, suppose if you take the dice game, how we are going to play with the dice game. These are some of the examples. So the basic programs are the projects, whatever we create, we will create each batch one repository. The entire source code will be available in that repository, and this source code will not have any restrictions. You can access anytime, you can access that here, and we are not going to delete that. This will be permanently, as long as the GitHub is available, the source code will be available for you. So these are the things we are going to cover, these are the things we are going to give you. And this is what I want to set the expectations, like, this program is purely for the beginners. And the if you are an advanced learner and you want to learn the advanced concepts, this program is going to start from the basics. To get to the advanced concepts, it will take a little time. Okay, maybe a 1 month we will be spending on the fundamentals. You would be spending, once you are done with that, then you will move to the advanced concepts, like the Spring and Spring Boot. Those concepts you would be discussing. Yeah, guys, that's all I want to cover in this demo session. If you have any questions, I'll take your questions. Otherwise, I'm done. Any questions? Okay. So the silence says that we don't have any questions. Don't get like no overwhelmed with the so many topics, so many things you need to learn. Okay, don't get it into that mindset. The thing is that you are not going to learn everything in one day. Like no, you are going to take the 2 months time, 2.5 months time you are taking, and you would be learning the from the scratch. You are going to learn that now. So every day you will be learning something new. Every day something. Every week you are going to learn some new tool. You are going to learn. Yeah. And moreover, yeah, one more important point I need to tell you that here these days in the it's not only in like no the AI tools are the most happening thing in industry. You guys should leverage the AI tools. Like no, don't spend too much time in learning these fundamentals and doing that here, because almost all your fundamental stuff is done by the AI tools. Like no, I'll be introducing the GitHub Copilot. Yeah, if you have time, you guys can explore GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot is a pilot is this is your Copilot. Like no, it's like a pair programmer. So AI tool is a pair programmer for you. The GitHub Copilot is the most of the companies they are using that here. And you know that ChatGPT 4 or ChatGPT 3, what are the version like now? You are using, you get familiar with the even AI tools as well. If you are neglecting that AI tools are, it's not going to be that trivial. If you think that here, you are going to, your learning curve will become this slow. And another thing is as I'm telling that here, if you're not using your AI tools, you're not leveraging that here, your productivity will go down. So you should start adopting the AI tools. Like now, whenever you are explaining in the product, whenever you are and attending interviews, what are the AI tools you are familiar with that. Definitely, you should be in a position to answer. Like now, we are using the Chat GPT, GitHub Copilot. Yeah. So then there is something called the LangChain, LLM LangChains. So those are the things you guys, what is happening in around you, you explore and you start using that here. Every tool they will give the 30 days trial. At least you try with the trial versions what you can generate. You just see that. Don't neglect the AI tools and start using the ChatGPT extensively. Even you will get the solutions on the ChatGPT. Thing is that like no, you should, what are the chat gpts generated, you should be able to understand and make it work. No, to get that knowledge, so first you have to learn the fundamental concepts well. Then you can effectively use the GitHub Copilot or the AI tools, whatever it is available, or what is the coming uh, those tools you can leverage and you can increase the productivity. Yeah. Thank you guys. And if you don't have any questions, thank you so much. I hope this 1 hour session, not even 50-minute session, it is useful for you, learn something. If you have any questions, I'll take your questions. Let me, okay. Yeah, I stopped sharing the screen. Yeah, I'm stop sharing the screen. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll take your questions, guys. Go ahead, please. So another 3 minutes, I will be with you. Pawani, you have a question? Go ahead, please. It looks like nobody has a question. Thank you, guys. See you.